Jesus and the Alabaster Box, the house of Simon the leper. A lavish dinner party is underway. The room is filled with guests, including prominent Pharisees, disciples, and Jesus. The air is thick with the scent of roasted meats and wine. Simon, a former leper, beaming, "I tell you, friends, there's no finer way to thank the man who healed you than to throw a party in his honor." A ripple of polite laughter goes around the table. Judas Iscariot, a man with a perpetually furrowed brow, leans in to whisper to Peter, "Judas, he could have just given the money to the poor, couldn't he?" All this pomp and circumstance, Peter shaking his head. "Give it a rest, Judas." The man's grateful. Suddenly, a woman enters. It's Mary, her face radiant yet tear-stained. She carries a simple, unassuming alabaster box. The chatter in the room dies down as all eyes turn to her. Pharisee one in a low, disapproving voice, "What's she doing here?" A woman of her reputation. Mary ignores the whispers. She walks directly to Jesus, kneels at his feet, and with a gentle motion breaks the box. A powerful, intoxicating aroma of pure nard fills the room, so potent it momentarily stuns everyone. "Mary, my Lord." She pours the expensive perfume over Jesus' feet. Then, to everyone's shock, she lets down her hair and begins to wipe his feet with it, her tears mixing with the fragrant oil. The room is silent, save for the soft sound of her weeping. Judas standing up abruptly, his voice laced with indignation. "This is an outrage. Why wasn't this perfume sold? It's worth a king's ransom, 300 denarii. It could have been given to the poor." A few of the disciples nod in agreement, mumbling their assent. Peter looks at Jesus, unsure of how to react. Jesus calmly, his voice cutting through the tension, "Leave her alone. Why do you trouble her? She has done a beautiful thing for me." He looks at Judas with a knowing, gentle sadness. "You will always have the poor with you, and you can help them whenever you want. But you will not always have me." He pauses, looking at Mary with profound love and respect. "She did what she could. She poured this perfume on my body to prepare me for burial. I tell you the truth, wherever the gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her." Mary looks up, her face a mixture of gratitude and relief. She smiles through her tears. The scriptural and spiritual lessons, the story of the alabaster box, found in Mark 14, 3-9, Matthew 26, 6-13, and John 12, 1-8, is rich with meaning, teaching us profound lessons about worship, love, and sacrifice. The meaning of worship. Mary's act wasn't just about anointing Jesus. It was a radical act of worship. She gave her most valuable possession, an act of sheer devotion that was deemed foolish and wasteful by others. The alabaster box was a small fortune, likely her life savings or an heirloom. Her choice to break the box symbolizes a complete and utter surrender. It was a point of no return. You can't put the perfume back in the broken box. It teaches us that true worship is not just about giving our leftover time or money. It is about giving our best, our everything, to God, without reservation or concern for what others think. 2. True love versus false piety. Judas's protest, though seemingly noble, was revealed to be rooted in greed and hypocrisy. The Gospel of John clarifies his motive, stating, "He did not say this because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief." John 12-6. This contrast highlights a crucial lesson, the difference between true love and false piety. Mary's love was costly and heartfelt, while Judas's concern for the poor was a cloak for his own selfish desires. Jesus' defense of Mary shows that God sees the heart and values genuine, sacrificial love over performative acts or calculated charity. 3. The prophetic nature of the act. Jesus reveals the deeper significance of Mary's actions. She was unknowingly preparing his body for burial. In that moment of worship, Mary's act was prophetic. She was anointing him not as a king, but as the sacrificial lamb, a role none of his disciples fully grasped at the time. This teaches us that sometimes our acts of obedience and devotion have a greater, more prophetic purpose than we can imagine. God can use our simple acts of faith to fulfill his larger divine plan. 4. The fragrance of the gospel. The powerful fragrance of the nard is a beautiful metaphor for the gospel itself. Jesus declares that wherever the gospel is preached, her story will be told. The fragrance that filled the room is like the message of salvation. It spreads and fills the world. A sweet aroma to God. Corinthians 15. Mary's simple act of love became an eternal part of the Christian story, forever connected to the good news of Jesus Christ. It reminds us that acts of faith, no matter how small or hidden, can have a far-reaching, lasting impact